Hey everybody, welcome to Fred Talks. We got a good conversation today. It's going to be about validation, right? And how we seek it and how it affects our decision making, things like that. So first, let's talk about what it actually means, right? So validation is a noun, says the action of checking or proving the validity of accuracy of something, the action of making or declaring something legally or officially acceptable, recognize or affirmation that a person or their feeling or opinions are valid or worthwhile. Now we know what it means. Let's kind of go into it a little bit and see what we can come up with. So the need for validation starts at a young age, as a toddler, with friends, family, probably more so with less familiar faces and strangers. You're out at the playground and one of the other kids are like, hey, come on, let's go play. And your toddler kind of looks at you like with the big old eyes, like, is it okay? Can I go? Is it okay? Right? They're seeking validation, like for you to just say, nod like, yeah, it's okay. Or tell them, announce it, yeah, go ahead, go play, have fun. That's what life's all about. So, think about that validation starting at that young of an age. So, they're seeking this validation from you, and that's just small, the beginning. So then as they progress through life, they start drawing pictures and making arts, crafts, and things like that, and they're bringing it to you. Oh, what do you think? What do you think? They're asking for your validation and on saying, oh yeah, it's good, or so they want to know, they want your validation that it's okay or good, right? They don't have it within themselves. They don't have the confidence to do it on their own, right? So, when a child brings you a paper and they're like, oh, what do you think of this? And your response to it will develop a normality for the type of validation that they seek, right? Now, this one's pretty interesting. Whatever normalcy you develop, they'll carry it with them for the rest of their life. More often than not, a parent response will be, wow, that looks great, good job, which I do myself as a father, a father of 5. And I'm constantly bombarded with sought out validation. And one day my daughter, at the time she was 8 years old, she presented me a picture she'd drawn. Before I could answer, she blurted out, I know you're gonna say it's great, you love it. Then she asked me, like, what do you really think? Right? Her awareness of the situation kind of like offset me. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't prepared for it. So then I reversed the role, right? So I asked her like, what do you think of it? Right? So that way she could kind of self-validate and decide that it's good enough and make it acceptable in her own opinion. And she told me like, oh, I don't like how this looks, right? And pointing to like the hairstyle. I was like, okay, well, just change it. If you don't like it, just change it. It's okay. So it's like, let's see. This, her response, this whole situation, you put me back to where I had to think, right? Not right in the moment, after like a day or two, however long it took to marinate. I had to analyze it, reflect, and think about the validation I was giving and how she responded to it. And that goes with all the children. So as you know, they're all presented for a form of validation. So upon thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, so I reflected inward, right? To see myself and where I was at with validation in order to understand better what I was projecting. So, for me, I created the no need of outside validation. I have confidence in every decision I make and everything I do. And if I make a mistake, I learn from it. I'm okay. I pick up and keep going. It doesn't stop me. It motivates me to do better for me, and without the need of other people validating what I say or do. And so I thought about it, like how can I help my children develop that to where they have the confidence and they don't need the validation, outside validation. When my daughter recognized the lack of authenticity, it's like, damn, so it's kind of crazy. So what I decided was exactly how I role reversed. Every time they presented to me something, my sons or my daughter, I would always ask them, like, well, what do you think about it? Just so that way they could self-validate, and then I'll give my honest opinion, and I'll say, oh, it's not my style, or I like this part, or I don't like this part, or whatever, like, kind of just give them some play-by-play and let them kind of come to their own decision on it. So it's like I said, where they dislike something, I just tell them to change it, and then I'm able to respond genuinely, so that way they're not able to pick up false validation and then seek genuine from outside or from peers or from maybe not a good source. So, so my favorite response when they bring me something and I say, well, what do you think of it? My favorite response that they give me is, I think it's perfect. I think it's great. Then I can just respond and say, that's all that matters. Great. I love that. That's all that matters is what you think about it. It doesn't matter what I think about it. You made it. If you love it and enjoy it, do it and continue to do it. Don't let me prevent you from that. So it's like, they're developing their confidence without the need for validation. And the need for validation as an adult can cost you greatly, honestly. So I ran out of writing here, so I'm just gonna wing the rest of it. But the need for validation can definitely cost you. Let's see. I'm a risk taker, right? Like I said, I love challenges, and I live my life like that, and I wanted to see, this is where it's hard to wing it. So years and years ago, I wanted to start a company, right? A landscape company. At the time, let's see, my whole life I've worked my ass off. Since I was 10 years old, I would go door to door, handyman services, mowing lawns, scooping poop. I would do lemonade stands. I would sell mistletoe in the winter. I would do all these things growing up just to make some extra money and buy what I'd want or need or whatever the situation. And so I've always been kind of like entrepreneurial. And luckily, my family supports me in all my decisions. My close family, like my mom and my sister, they support me and stand by me whatever I say or do. They have the confidence in me that when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So, years ago, always being entrepreneurial, I've always developed like, oh, I want to have a business. And I always talked about it, never did anything about it. And about 10 years ago, I was working a full-time job. I was doing small jobs before I'd go to work. So I was working the evenings. So I'd work in the morning when the kids are in school, and then I would work in the evening, and it would give me supplemental income, able to support my lifestyle. And so I'd always talk about it, like, oh, you do work, Fred? Yeah, I do. And working a full-time job and talking with my peers, I'd always be like, oh, I want to start a business and I want to go legit and I want to go hard and I want to be able to self support myself off my own company. And many supported, do it, Fred, do it, you could do it, this and that. But there was a lot of naysayers and negative Nancy's, and oh, it's hard, or what are you gonna do about this, and what are you gonna do about that, or what if you fail, what if so the majority of it was kind of like, well, how or what, or they didn't understand how I could do it. I didn't even understand how I could do it. But had I listened to those people, right, I wouldn't have took the risk. So I did start a company. I started a landscape company 5 years ago. I was able to build it up enough that I was able to support my family and live comfortable. I wasn't rich, it's never my goal. I'm not too concerned with money, but I did it. And regardless of what anybody said, and even during building the company, there was a lot of negative people who who would put it down, oh, your little business, when are you gonna get a real job, and things like that. And it's like, well, I don't need your validation, right? It's like I don't need that from you. I don't need you to tell me that I'm doing great. I don't need you to tell me congratulations, right? It's like, I made the decision, I did it. Had I sought out complete validation and I listened to those people who told me it's a risk, it's hard, and what if you mess up, or you got kids, and had I listened to those people, I would have lost out. So you can't lose something you never had. But had I not made that decision, I wouldn't have gained the knowledge and experience that I have now based on the lack of validation. I had the validation in myself. This is what I wanted. This is what I'm going to do. I had the determination and I achieved it. And it was great, amazing, very challenging. And entrepreneurialism is not for everybody. You really got to be an animal. You got to be hungry and you got to be on it. You can't be a slacker. You have to answer every phone call. You have to go look at every property. You have to seize every opportunity presented. And you want to do it appropriately. Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up for failure, right? You want to take the necessary steps. So had I needed that validation, I never would have gained the knowledge and experience that I have now. And now I'm able to apply it. Even starting the business, I was able to apply the knowledge and experience from building the business to my life, right? So running a business, being organized helps you a lot. I had to organize my home before I could organize my business, and it kind of escalated from there. And it just started rolling a huge, great effect of all sorts of things. But more so, we're talking about validation and not needing it. Be confident in yourself and don't seek validation from anybody except yourself. It's okay, of course, you want to talk about it and see what people think, but don't take it to heart. Don't take to heart if they're not validating what you want or what you're doing. Don't take it to heart. So that's my piece on validation, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you for your time. Take care.